Now, competition is always there, and competition is the base of any test, basically, especially for college. Don't worry about it. You know, I guess the key thing to this is don't worry about it and stay focused on you. Don't worry about if someone else is finished in the room. Don't worry about if you're on question 1 and someone's on question 30. Who cares? You focus on you. You concentrate on you. You work as quickly as you need to work, not someone else. You're impressing yourself on this test, no one else. If you impress yourself, college will be impressed by you. Notice how it keeps going back to you. Remember that. Okay? Now, remember, as I said, a college is impressed by what you bring. Just because this is a test, and just because this is an important test, and it's a very important test, remember that it's important. This is not the only factor that gets you into a college, especially international students like yourself. Okay? So take it and understand that it is a test, but take it and understand that it's just a test. Focus, concentrate. Don't think about what someone else is doing. Don't think about what may happen, because what is going to happen is whatever you do. Again, this goes back to you. Okay? Now, remember that you can take this test more than once. So like for myself, I took the test 2 or 3 times. Doesn't mean I did bad on each one of them, but I wanted to improve for myself. Again, it came back to me, i.e. you. So you can choose what scores you want to send. Okay? It's important that you understand that you control every aspect of this test except what's going to be on it. Unfortunately, that's just not fun for anybody. But you decide if it's hard, and you decide if it's easy, and you decide how quick and how slow, and how many questions you want to eliminate first, and how many questions you want to do first. You decide. Okay? Remember, it's all up to you. Don't stress yourself on this. It's not that big of a deal. You're going to do fine because you have me. And I'm good at what I do. Believe me when I say. I've been published. I've got great accolades. I've got awards. I got your back. We're going to do this, and you're going to do fine. Now, some other little tips just before you would take the test itself. Preparation is actually one of the biggest factors for taking this test, and that does not mean knowing what's on the test. That means how do you prepare for the test? It's a big deal. When I say this, if you're not prepared in your own head, and you're not prepared mentally and physically, you're not going to do that great on this test. What I mean is, remember as I said, to make sure that you know all the directions and you read them. You're not taking the test yet. That's before you take the test, is getting to the directions. Make sure you get that. Make sure you understand. And if you don't understand, make sure that you understand that if you really don't understand that question, one, you can always ask. Now, they're probably going to tell you I can't help you. That's fine. But understand that it's not a big deal that if you ask. And actually, in the very beginning, they have to read you all the directions for that test. Okay? In the test itself, that's up to you. But here's the catch to it, as I said. Read them. It's basic. I promise you. It's just going to say this, this, and this. But you can still ask. Sometimes you'll get a proctor. Actually, a lot of times you'll get a proctor who will say, what it wants you to do is this. They're not helping you on the test. Because the test is actually the questions. The directions, that's just what you do before it. You can ask. Some people will tell you. It's fine. I promise you that. And if they tell you no, fine. Breathe and reread it again. I have to read my questions 3 or 4 times. That's me. I'm not able to get what actually happens or what someone wants in the first take. That's just how I'm just not able to do it. But what makes me good at English, and what makes me good at taking a test, is that I will ask a question and I will reread it more than once, and I don't get frustrated. Believe me, if you don't understand something, you're going to get upset. What you have to do is just say, I don't understand, but let me ask. And if that doesn't work, then you just say, all right, let me look at this again. It doesn't hurt. You're not going to waste time, I promise. Rereading a question is not going to waste your time. In fact, it's going to help you. Here's another tip for preparation. Make sure you're prepared. And what I mean by that is make sure that you have everything in hand before you even go into taking that test. Whatever they want you to have, and I believe it's usually an ID or 2 forms of ID. I think in the math you're allowed to bring a calculator. Take your calculator, but it can't be a graphing calculator, because that doesn't really work and you can cheat. You don't want that. So make sure you have all your materials. Okay, it's important.